Hey, what's up? It's Randy, and right now you're listening to this tiny little itty bitty microphone right here. This is the Shure MoveMic, and you're gonna be listening to this microphone throughout the duration of this video, unless I specify otherwise. Now, this is one of the newest offerings from Shure, and anyone who knows even just a little bit about audio probably knows that Shure is one of the biggest players in this space. But Shure has never really dabbled into the audio for camera space, until now. This is the Shure MoveMic. It's a tiny little lavalier microphone, tiny little traveling case. It is tiny. Now, I'm curious to know your thoughts on Shure's migration into the camera audio space. I'm curious to know what devices you think they might make next. Now, there are a few different configurations that you can get with this microphone. This is the MoveMic 1. You can also get the MoveMic 2, and you can also add a cold shoe receiver that can receive up to 2 wireless signals at a time. Links will be down in the description to all of these so you can see the most updated pricing. Okay, so this is stupid small. It's absolutely one of the smallest transmitters I've ever used. So small must mean there are some compromises. Well, how about the sound? I think the sound sounds pretty good. Let me know what you guys think down below. How about the battery life? Now, Shure, in their documents, they claim 8-hour microphone battery life plus 2 additional charges with the transmitter pack. And so I thought, 8 hours, that's pretty crazy for this tiny little thing. So I put it to the test. I ran my first test in flat mode, so no processing, no noise cancellation, no EQ, no compression, nothing like that, just in flat mode and in high power mode. And I let that run for 9 hours before I got tired of the experiment and decided I wanted to go to bed. And then I wanted to see how much the compression and noise reduction would actually drain the battery. And interestingly, I got the exact same results. So this tells me that the processing is happening in the app and not inside the device itself. There are pros and cons to that. Obviously, the pro is that you get a way better battery life without it running any sort of onboard processing. But if you did have a compressor built in, you'd make slightly better use of the headroom available via Bluetooth. It's probably really not a concern for most people. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but it is pouring out. So if you hear any rain or any constant, it's probably not great for a microphone review video, but Mother Nature decided to interrupt me. I'm just gonna deal with it. They also offer this low power mode, which I believe will just conserve a little bit of battery. I don't really see a need for it, to be honest, because I can't imagine a world where I would need my device for longer than 9 hours. Like, that's just so much time. So I'll probably always just leave the high power mode on. And finally, as it says on the box, you can use the travel case to recharge the battery 2.5 times. So like 20, what is that? 9 plus 9 plus half of 9, 4.5. So yeah, you're getting like 23 hours out of a single charge of the case, which is pretty awesome. I recognize that for a lot of people, this is sort of the main use for this microphone, just sitting in a casual setting using a smartphone to record. So right now I'm using the MOTIV Video App. So I want to show you guys how this sounds talking directly to the camera, and then we're going to switch to the camera audio so you can see just how different that is. This is the built-in microphone on my camera, and this is why a microphone like this is so good for content creators, because I'm only like just out of arm's reach away from my camera, and you can hear how bad the sound quality gets. You can hear my refrigerator, the echo in the space. It gets just completely unusable. Having something like this is definitely a massive step up in the sound quality. Now, I know you're here for the sound tests. I'm not completely dumb, so let's test out the Shure MoveMic against the Rode Wireless Pro and against the Hollyland Lark Max, so you can hear the difference of these 3 mics. A fox. Any of various members of the dog family resembling small to medium-sized bushy-tailed dogs with long fur, pointed ears, and a narrow snout. A fox. Any of various members of the dog family resembling small to medium-sized bushy-tailed dogs with long fur, pointed ears, and a narrow snout. A fox. Any of various members of the dog family resembling small to medium-sized bushy-tailed dogs with long fur, pointed ears, and a narrow snout. Now, interestingly, I think I still have to give the edge to the Hollyland Lark Max or the Rode Wireless Pro. I just think they have a little bit nicer of a sound, but I think that all 3 microphones are very usable. They're just meant for very different purposes. For instance, some of the features, the Rode Wireless Pro has internal recording, which means you can record directly to one of the transmitters. It also has a microphone input, so you can attach a lavalier. It has 32-bit float recording, and it has timecode options. The Hollyland Lark Max also has internal recording, also has lavalier microphone options, a much more rugged travel case and way better UI in my opinion, but it doesn't have 32-bit or timecode. The Shure MoveMic, its main features, the absolute smallest size, the least intrusive, there's no shiny body or massive logos on the front of them, and they can connect directly to a smartphone without a receiver. All of this with relatively comparable sound. Now, in my opinion, totally just the way I feel, let me know if you agree down below. The Hollyland Lark Max and the Rode Wireless Pro are really more like prosumer film kits. They're meant for like DIY film producers who need all the connectivity and some additional features. The Shure MoveMic really feels more like it's meant for streamers, like IRL streamers with some of the additional built-in features, or people who are looking to create TikToks or Reels or things really quickly to their smartphone, and that's sort of the main delivery method. At least for those of us who aren't getting the built-in camera receiver. That's a bit of a different story. So if you're looking for the most feature-rich microphone that has all the bells and whistles, this is definitely not the right option for you. But if you're looking for really good quality audio in the tiniest little body with the least intrusive microphone with some amazing built-in tools directly into the app, this is going to be a really great option for you. Speaking of the mobile app, it is a massive chunk of the experience of this microphone. So let's go ahead and take a look through the mobile app. These are the two apps here. So we have the MOTIV Audio and MOTIV Video apps. But let's jump into the MOTIV Audio app and let's take a look at what you can control here. So this is the device's main page here, and you can see you can name your device, you can change it to anything that you'd like. You can lock the settings, which is great to have, and you'll see it will indicate that it's locked. You can turn off the LEDs, which is a awesome feature. I'd love to see that. And then there's this high power mode when you can disable that, and then it's essentially in low power mode. Again, I'm just going to be leaving mine in high power mode pretty much all the time. You can see we have microphone gain, which is controllable up to 60 decibels of gain. I usually keep mine around 23 decibels. And we have a mute button, which is indicated by the LED here. You can also mute just by doing it on the device itself. One tap on the left side here is going to mute the microphone. Great to have the control in both spots. That way, if someone's going to the washroom or something like that, they can always mute the microphone, not have to have you listen to them pee. We've got our presets down here, and you can actually go ahead and save presets. So you can see I've made a custom one there. And then below that, we have our settings. So right now it's in flat mode. We also have the speech mode, the singing mode, and flat. And you can toggle on noise reduction for either of these modes, and it will stay on as you toggle through. Below that, we have our compressor settings. So from off to light to medium and heavy. And we have a high pass filter at off, 75 Hertz in the middle, or 150 Hertz on the right side. Down below, we have an equalizer setting, which is kind of nice. It's a pretty basic EQ, but great if you're doing any sort of live streaming or something like that and you want to bake this into your recording. And then lastly, we have an identify button, which is just going to show you which microphone you're adjusting. For the record settings, you can see here it's pretty basic. It just tells you to enable airplane mode or do not disturb for the best results. You can see here it's a mono audio file. I have 117 hours of recording available. You press go and it's off to the races. There's really not much to this page. That's basically it. You can pause and continue your recording, which is great if you want to take a break and you don't want it to be recorded. And then you can go ahead and click save and save that as its own recording. To access your recordings, you can do that from the library, and you can see there are my additional recordings. And the last tab here is the settings, and you can see we can do firmware update, change the appearance from dark to light mode, or based on your device settings. And then we have the record settings down here, which right now is in WAVE and 1648. Now the MoveMic can record audio in 16 or 24-bit, as well as 44.1 or 48 kilohertz. However, when you are connected to Bluetooth, you cannot access the 24-bit recording. You are stuck at 16-bit recording. I'm using an iPhone 12 and an iPad Air 2022, and I verified this on both the MOTIV Audio and the MOTIV Video apps. I also reached out to Shure directly, and they confirmed that this is a limitation of Bluetooth. Yeah, I know Bluetooth can transmit over 24 bits, so I'm really not sure where that limitation comes from. Maybe it's because some people won't have a device that's capable of doing it, so they just made the app kind of like a blanket 16-bit. Something to think of. I think it would be nice if Shure included that in the documentation. I did give that feedback to them. I just spent way too long scouring their website, scouring all the documents, trying to figure out why I couldn't get 24-bit on my recording devices. Especially I tried my phone and my iPad, and I was like, I must be going crazy, but no. Either way, it's all good. Now the MOTIV Video app is much the same. You can see here we have our microphone settings, which is exactly the same. We have our other settings here, which you can see is pretty much the same as the last one, except now we have some video settings, so 4K at 30 frames, face detection, etc. And then we also have a streaming option, which is going to allow you to connect this directly to a Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or to a custom URL key. So this is great. You can stream directly via OBS or anything like that. It's pretty awesome. And then, of course, this is just a normal camera app. You have all the features that you'd normally have in the iOS camera. And of course, you can record directly to this app, and it's a great spot to store all your clips. Now let's take a listen to the built-in presets so you can hear what those sound like. Okay, we are inside of my wife's Studio Bricks isolation booth. This is a vocal booth that's like -45 decibels of rejection from external sounds. So it is eerily quiet in here. I have the vent turned off. It is exceptionally quiet. So this will give us a good example of how this mic sounds without any sort of room interference changing the sound of it. And right now I have it set to completely flat. So no compression, no EQ, no noise reduction. Oh my God, why can't I say that? No noise reduction. This is just the microphone straight up. So I'm gonna go ahead and change these settings right now so you can hear the difference. Okay, now you're listening to the speech profile. So this is set to speech, which turns on the compressor to light. It turns the high pass filter to 75 Hertz, and it also adds an EQ profile. This is the speech setting. And this is the singing mode. It sets the compressor to medium and the high pass filter to 75 and adds a bit of a different EQ profile. Now I have to say, I'm not a massive fan of these built-in presets. I recognize that I'm not the ideal customer for these. I just find that I would prefer to do a lot of this work in post myself. And I think that's really why this isn't appealing to me, is because I'm gonna doctor this stuff in post regardless. So I think these would be great for people who maybe don't have the time or energy, or they're doing a live stream and they need that sound baked into their signal, or just people who maybe lack the skills to do something like this in post-production. This would be a great option for them. Okay, I've set the microphone back to flat with no noise reduction, no compressor, but it does have the low pass at 75 Hertz. Now I want to show you guys how the compressor sounds as we sort of ramp this up. So this is no compression at all. This is with the light compression, check, check, check. This is flat with the light compression, check, check, check. This is flat with medium compression, check, check, check. This is flat with medium compression, check, check, check. And this is flat with heavy compression, check, check, check. Flat with heavy compression, check, check, check. I'm so glad that I'm in an isolated chamber because I feel like a crazy person. Now, one test that I love is the Curtis Judd practical noise test. I'm gonna link Curtis's channel down below if you haven't seen his video. Of course, you've seen his videos, they're amazing. If you haven't, definitely check them out. Now in Curtis's test, you record some dialogue and then you record some silence. And then you take that section of dialogue and normalize it to -23 LUFS. And then in that section of silence, you want to see that sitting below around -60 dB. These were actually coming in closer to -70 dB, which I actually ran the test again because I thought I might have had the noise reduction on, but I didn't. They're actually just very quiet microphones, very, very low noise floor. I'm not sure if there's something happening in the app to make that happen, but that's exceptionally good. Very, very quiet microphones. It's pretty awesome. I think this is pushing me into the mindset of easier is better. And I've never lived there before, so I'm excited to try it. Anyways, hit me up down in the comments. I would love to know what you guys think about this microphone. If you have any questions, put them down there. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to be answering anything that you guys have, so let me know. And I appreciate you. Thank you for watching all of this to the end. See ya.